This Fleet Equipment Unscripted interview is presented by Hendrickson, a leading manufacturer of heavy-duty suspension systems and components to the global commercial transportation industry. Visit hendrickson-intl.com to learn more.
Hi everyone, I'm Jason Morgan, Content Director for Fleet Equipment, and welcome to Fleet Equipment Unscripted. Today we're talking with Kenny Vieth, President and Senior Analyst at ACT Research. Kenny, how you doing?
Doing great, Jason. Glad to be here with you today.
Yeah, so it is the most wonderful time of the year because this is the time where we break down the trucking market from what just happened to what the heck's going to happen next year. We've done this a couple years in a row. Always one of my favorite to catch up with you and get a beat on the market. So really appreciate you taking the time again. Let's just jump right into it, right? Let's do the 2022 post-game analysis here. What were the surprises in the industry for you this year? What stood out to you and maybe what hit your expectations?
So let's start with expectations. So the good news is I think we did a great job on the forecasting this year. So when we did this call last year, we were saying Class 8 North America production was going to be right around 300,000 units. Our current forecast, we've got 1 month left to go, but our current forecast for this year is 311,000 units. So call it 3.5% off. For trailers, last year we were at about 298,000 units, and looks like we're going to come in about 305. So right around 2.5% on that. Where we really missed is the economy. So if we go back to this call last year, we thought that the U.S. economy was going to grow by about 4% in 2022. Our current forecast is just a hair below 2%. We thought freight was going to grow about 5%. Our forecast for freight this year is about 2%. And I just as kind of an extension, that reduction in economic activity in 2022, really sets the stage for what's to come in 2023.
Right. Well, and so correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm doing this on the fly, and I'm a layman, and I don't really understand numbers because I'm an editor. But it always seemed to me that tractor and truck orders, and especially trailer orders too, were really indicators for where the economy was really going. And it's been relatively strong this year, all things considered. It seems that the economy kind of diverged from that, or that maybe that indicator. It just seems like there's a discrepancy there, or a disconnect between, hey, there's trucking still really relatively strong. The economy is kind of going all over the place. Right. Maybe still post-pandemic impact kind of a thing.
Yeah. So some of that has to do with 2020 and especially 2021, we had the all-time record freight growth year in 2021. And then also, the industry was stuck with supply chain constraints that were broad-based and random. So the industry wasn't able to produce all the trucks that they would have typically produced, say, in 2021. Even in this softening environment in 2022, there was a lot of pent-up demand that the industry brought into the year.
Right. And for me, and trying to get my arms around it too, it's always like, well, I have to forget everything I thought I knew about how this works and connect with you to figure out what's going on. So looking at right now, right? So where we are right now, and maybe in the immediate future here, going into the first quarter of a new year, what's on your radar and what's important to note, and what are you looking at as we barrel into 23?
So just thinking conceptually, carrier profits drive equipment demand. So if your customers are making money, they don't want to pay taxes. So, and they also want to upgrade their fleets. So, that's just as a, put that in your back pocket. And so, where do those profits come from? They come from freight rates. And so, right now in 2022, we're likely to see an all-time record for carrier profitability and free cash. And a lot of that was on the rear view. So the first half of the year was just so good. We're trying to see it slow down into the second half, but as of right now, truckers are still flush with cash. The second thing is contract rates follow spot rates, and our rule of thumb is every 2 percentage points in spot rate is 1 percentage point in contract. So in November, per DAT's rate data, spot rates were down about 30%. And I should also say contract rates lag spot rates. So if contract rates are down, try that again, if spot rates are down 30% in the fourth quarter, contract rates are going to be down, say 10 to 15% by the time we get to the end of the first quarter. So we're starting to see that pain in the disequilibrium in the supply-demand balance start to show up in the rate environment. So truckers aren't going to make as much money in 2023, and at the same time we have freight falling. Truckers not making as much money, and yet because of ongoing pent-up demand, at least through the first half of 2023, the industry and the trucking companies who buy trucks are going to be adding a lot of capacity into a market where there's falling freight. And so if you assume that the supply and demand, that as Alan Greenspan once said, the law of supply and demand has not been repealed. We're adding a lot of supply in the first half of 2023 in a market where the demand side is softening.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like you have some interesting things going on there too, because as you know, with the tailwind of fleets having some cash on hand to kind of make some investments or even weather the first quarter, it's like, where do you put that and how's that going to shake out? And then what do we look at for the year? So now it's time to break out the crystal ball. You have a really, really solid track record, I feel, here during our conversations looking at next year. So 2023, what can we expect in terms of the overall trucking market?
So we're looking at the biggest down drop in history in carrier profitability. The front side of that was we had the biggest run up in carrier profitability in history over the course of 2021 and 2022. So if we believe in Newton's third law of motion, everything has an equal and opposite reaction.
Right.
The farther things go up, the harder they come down. We're starting to see that in used truck prices right now. There's a lot of capacity, that's on the cusp of coming out of the market. So 23 is the rebalancing year. As far as equipment manufacturing, I think there's again some very nice tailwinds into the first half of 2023. But we do believe in our forecasts that the rate, the kind of demand, starts to break down. Maybe we get through the third quarter, but certainly by the fourth quarter, we think that the equipment cycle is getting very tired. So our forecasts, and it's kind of easy. Our forecasts in 2023 are almost a carbon copy of our 2022 forecasts. We're at 302,000 for North American Class 8 production. Again, that's front end loaded. For trailers, we're at 302,000 as well. If I can just make one comment about trailers and kind of one of the things that cropped up over the course of 2022 is the notion of power only truck brokerage. So if you think that fleets have been doing a lot of drop and hook, and the brokerage market has largely been more of a live load unload type of market. As we look to 23 and 24, 25, we think that we're going to be seeing trailer to tractor ratios being pushed higher. So I think there's kind of some secular good news in the trailer market story as we look out over the next few years.
Very cool, very cool, and I mean it's great info to have. Whether that's if there's some stormy weather ahead of us, still good to have an outlook there and be able to plan accordingly for the year. And I think that like I enjoyed this so much that I'm not going to wait another full year. We're going to get a hold of you halfway through the year. We'll do kind of a halfway through 23 analysis. Take a look at what's coming because it does sound like first half of the year is going to be really solid. We're going to see what goes into 23. Then as you kind of put it, what goes up must come down. So interested to see how 23 pans out. You have my interest peaked.
Okay, yeah. So nice tailwinds into the to the first half of the year, and as you say, probably worth a halfway point check to see if our pessimism into the second half is warranted.
Very good. Kenny, always appreciate you taking the time. Really great info. I will talk to you again much sooner than once a year.
Thanks, Jason. Glad to do it, and happy holidays, everyone.